Yeah, what does God and a Lamborghini have in common?
Wow. I would say that they're both real and pretty cool.
Man, maybe you can go back to the beginning of the presentation and you'll be surprised because there's a message and I think it's absolutely accurate.
What's the message? I can't check the presentation.
Yeah, basically is that we can make different choices without information having to change just because how we feel about the information.
Mm-hmm.
So
How do you feel about well, go ahead, go ahead.
no, basically that's my message that people feel things and they can make choices depending on how they feel, not necessarily because of the information. And the experiment that we just did on the presentation, the information always stayed the same. The person make a different choice later on the presentation without the information changing. The person changed how they feel, and that's how they end up making another choice. Just exactly what happens when someone believes in a God.
Mm-hmm. I got a question. How do you feel about that one time when I think it was Fathom or Robert, probably Robert, had told you that he doesn't really see the importance of looking into the feelings, that no matter what we do in life, there's going to be feelings, and usually in like big decisions or other decisions, there's feelings, and it's more important to focus on the facts. How did you feel when he said that? Do you
First of
remember
all,
him telling you that?
yes. First of all, of course, I respect what Robert said that day, and we have a little bit more in-depth conversation. It is my view, and also respecting his view, is that everything that you do in this life is going to involve feelings, and that for me, that will be the same as you're walking around with a gun, loaded gun, and don't pay attention to the gun because I'm going to always carry it in my hand, so don't worry about it. And you're like, okay, you're walking around with a gun in your hands. Why would you not pay attention with the gun? You know, feelings can make the difference from you being a nice person and you in getting involved in a road rage and killing someone. That's how powerful feelings are. So why would you not pay attention to feelings? Feelings can get you to believe into a God. Why would you not pay attention to your feelings?
Yeah, see, I do feel like feelings is not the only thing that should be highlighted. Like, just because somebody believes in God, you know, we got to say, well, it's because he feels good and it's a positive thing in his head. And that's why it's negative, y'all. You know, God makes you feel pretty good. I feel like it's more like the people may feel good because they believe the data. But you could do that about anything. You could feel good that Chulam's real, or you could feel good that atheism is true, or you could feel good about anything. So what is the main importance of that? Like in terms of like disproving Christianity or disproving God?
That you can also do it with God of the Bible.
Yeah, but how does it, do you think that harms God being real?
The harm comes in not understanding what's going on. And when we don't understand what's going on, you're going to have yourself believing in the God of the Bible, you know, a peaceful, loving God. But there are people doing exact same thing you're doing it with another God, different doctrine. And you're thinking, man, those people are believing in the wrong God. That God is probably violent or they're living a lie. They're thinking the same thing about you.
I mean, yeah, that's true. I mean,
I think that probably people unconsciously, they know what's going on. How can someone in the billions probably believe in some God that you know is not real? How can that happen? They must be doing something to believe in some incorrect data, and they think the same thing about you. You believe that something is real based on incorrect data. So your God maybe is not real.
I mean, but I do believe that just feeling positive isn't the only factor. Like I know for a fact that living in America, I have a 50% chance of getting cancer, and it doesn't make me feel good, but I know it's true. What is it like? What if the feeling doesn't have as much in the input as you think? Just because something is true and you feel good or feel bad, I don't think that's as big of a factor. I think more of, well, the people believe the facts and they believe it and they think it's real is what I would focus more on.
Yeah,
there are people that are purely feeling, so I don't disagree with that.
This is, in my view, this is the danger to lower the importance to the most powerful tool that we human beings have, which is feel. Because with thoughts, you cannot do anything. With data, you cannot do anything in this life. You need something to bring that invisible data into life. And the only way you can do it is with feel.
So I have a question.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
You can have thoughts, millions of thoughts. If you don't do something or feel something about that information that you have in your head, nothing's going to happen externally.
Do you tie feelings into the will of a person?
Absolutely, 100%. Everything that you do right now, even calling right now, you have to go through a process of going from, I'm not going to call it a negative feel state, but you saw or felt something that compelled you to connect to the Discord because you saw something of value in doing that. If you don't act on that, probably the minutes are going to pass and you're going to start creating a little bit of a negative feel state, like in the 0.1%, 2% is going to go bigger. You call, and then that negative feel state disappears and goes into the positive. We do it with everything.
Yeah. No, and I see what you're saying, but away from the whole prompt and all, can I ask it? Like, hello?
You're breaking up a little bit. Go ahead.
Okay, can you hear me? I said I had a question that's a little off the prompt, if I could ask it.
Sure.
So, do you ever take a step back and say that the reason you focus a lot on feelings or like even like the will and all that could go back to like your religious influences you used to have? Because I remember you told me you had a lot of charismatic Catholic influence, and a lot of it is feelings and focus on the Holy Spirit and will and all that. Do you feel like, even though you don't believe in God anymore, maybe that influenced why you focus on feelings a lot?
Of course, yes.
Yeah. I love the charismatic Catholics, but I could see where the influence came onto you. But do you see that as a positive thing that you focus on the feelings, even though you don't believe in like Catholicism or God anymore? Or at least you doubt it?
Yeah, like I said before, everything since I wake up in the morning and I open my eyes, I'm going through this process with everything I do. So of course, when I was a believer, I was going through this process, but with ignorance. Someone else was doing this process for me, and of course, I was controlled. I was putting my energy and time on something that I was not really there, but because I lowered my guard, I was ignorant about how I operate. Someone else was using my energy. So, answering your question, of course, I understand that I was a believer. I was going through this process. I was influenced by this information. I look back, I'm always done this process with everything, including being a charismatic, not being a charismatic. I'm doing it right now in this live stream. So one more thing.
Yeah.
It seems to me that, and I'm not being disrespectful, you're asking that question because one, you lack the knowledge of what I'm saying. You're not even trying to test it on yourself or ask questions about yourself because you're doing it right now. Okay. And two, what I'm saying doesn't align very well with the belief in an invisible entity. I'm explaining how a human being ends up believing in an entity by going through this process. I can demonstrate it to you right now with you or with anybody else calling.
Yeah, I mean, I get what you're saying. I would say I'm not focusing on applying it to me because I was asking you, I could do that. And the second thing would be, I mean, we could definitely see how it could apply. I don't think that it's necessarily contradictory to God, because like I said, if you look at charismatic Catholicism, it's not contradictory. You're doing almost the exact same thing you used to do. Instead of putting your energy towards God, you're putting it towards what you would want to say is maybe not yourself, but finding out what's it like to put it toward yourself. What can we do? Because I know in a lot of your lives, you're like, what would happen if humans focused on themselves, right? Rather like the human aspect, the feelings we have, rather than putting it in a God, right?
Yeah, I think I could give an opinion that a believer, without understanding themselves, you're doing a dishonest belief in God.
Yeah.
Because you're not understanding what you're doing. You're just going by feel, and that's it. The God feels good. It makes me feel good. It gives me a new heart, and I don't care about anything else.
Can I jump in for a sec?
Yeah, go ahead. I'll take a break. Go ahead on that.
Yeah.